Now on Coast TV News.
We are tracking a major winter storm over the weekend. I'll give you the latest positioning and detail and pinpoint when it might hit you.
And with that storm on the way, coastal communities are getting ready. What people were grabbing at Ace Hardware tonight. Plus, simple ways to cut back on power as some electric companies are urging conservation.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
Cold temperatures are moving in. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Christina DeRobertis. As those cold temperatures come in, a lot of us are pushing the thermostat up, but that can put a lot of strain on the system that we all use. And Coast TV reporter Nicole Richter shows us how people and utility companies are preparing ahead of this bitter cold.
Winds blowing through Sussex County. And as temperatures drop and bitter cold moves in, many people are relying more on heat to stay warm.
Cold, snow is normal, but wind certainly doesn't help.
This morning, DMAC asked their customers to cut back on power due to the cold weather.
The weather is always going to be what it'll be on the day of, but you just roll with it.
Coast TV reached out to other utility companies, and so far, Delaware Electric Co-op says they haven't had to do that, but they do advise their customers to watch how much power they use. They mentioned they are watching the weather as it comes and are prepared for any snow that may be on the way. Some people tell Coast TV they are preparing by stocking up on food and supplies in case they get snowed in.
I'm excited about it. I'm getting ready to go in the store now to pick up a few things. A day like that, if it's 4 to 6 inches, I just enjoy it from the inside. Put clean pajamas on when I get up and just enjoy it.
Need to get the sled out. Second thing is, got the fixins for chili, soup, homemade soup from the turkey bones from Thanksgiving.
With more cold weather expected, people on Delmarva say they're also paying closer attention to how they use electricity at home.
I try not to use, I don't use the dryer, which uses a lot of power, and lights and TV and anything electrical. I try to unplug everything that we're not using at the time, and try to turn the heat back a little bit and just dress a little warmer in the house.
And as temperatures continue to drop, utility companies and people alike say preparation and conservation could make all the difference in staying warm and safe this winter. In Georgetown, I'm Nicole Richter, Coast TV News.
From utility companies to hardware stores now, salt flying off the shelves ahead of the upcoming storm at the Best Ace Hardware store in Lewes. The store is actually limiting ice melt to 6 bags per customer. Coast TV photojournalist Matt Hipsman shows us how people there were preparing for the snow tonight.
I was getting my snowblower ready and it wouldn't start, so I went on YouTube and looked at some videos, and it said that it's probably the battery. I went on the internet and saw that Tom Best had the plug I needed, so I ran down here. And also got some ratchets for the toolkit to put the plug in.
Yeah, I got a pallet and a quarter left. Probably the most important thing to have for your steps and your pathways is salt, especially the jug. It's a lot easier, spreads easier. Best way to prepare for the storm coming is some people like to spray this down on their steps entering their house or their driveway, so it'll kind of melt and then help you prep to shovel while it's slipping right when you walk in.
Enjoy the snow. I love it. I'm always happy to see snow, but I like to be prepared for it.
Now let's take a live look outside into Lewes and turn it right over to our First Alert Chief Meteorologist, Paul Williams. Paul, what are we expecting here?
Well, first and foremost, we got at least a couple of days to get prepared for it now, even though it's a bit on the cold side right now. But we're seeing the timing of it still saying Saturday going into Sunday is the biggest day, and then possibly linger into early Monday morning. But right now we're at 17 degrees in Milford. The winds have died down, thank goodness, because listen, we're going to drop down to 17 and stay in the 17s or the teens for the rest of the night. We're at 14 in Long Neck, for example. It's 15 in Redden, 17 in Laurel, 15 in Delmar and Gumboro. We are 14 to 15 degrees cooler now to 16 in Wallops Island than we were just 24 hours ago. So we have the cold that's definitely in place. The winds are relatively calm, which is good. That helps at least a little bit because the Arctic air is already in place. And this is the difference between last weekend versus this weekend. This weekend coming up, the cold air is already in place to create the opportunity for the snow. So we're just dealing with the cold for right now. Now coming up, we're going to talk about the latest timing of the snow, when it's going to hit, and we'll start talking accumulation going into tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Paul. And we will have more winter storm coverage in our broadcasts on the Coast TV News app, coasttvnews.com, and on our radio stations as we get closer to the weekend. All right, moving on now. This concrete dune crossover was built without state approval at Prime Hook Beach. It now has to come down. DenRec says the 118-foot ramp violates beach protection rules and could harm local and migrating species, including from traffic by cars and boats. The agency has ordered that crossover be removed within 15 days. The state also wants the dune restored with sand grading and beach grass. If the property owner does not comply, DenRec could take legal action. But the owner does have the option to appeal the decision within 30 days, and that could lead to a public hearing. New tonight, Millsboro confirming a broken pipe caused 25,000 gallons of wastewater to enter marshland, leading into the Indian River. This was on last Thursday. You can see remediation efforts here. Millsboro says those efforts happened within 30 minutes. The Indian River Bay is closed off for shellfish harvesting. DenRec says it will let the public know when that harvest ban is lifted. Well, World War II era artifacts continue to cause trouble on Assateague Island. They are unexploded ordnances left behind from the 1940s, and getting rid of them takes time and money. So today, Worcester County commissioners sent a letter to the feds asking them to step in and help.
This is a way that we could either submit for reimbursement or just something that would be more of a unified system. You know, it's kind of, you know, we're sending X-rays over to Dover, and it's kind of, it's a little fragmented. We want our community to be safe. At the same time, though, we kind of, the financial burden of this, you know, needs to go back to who created the issue.
Now, in the past 5 years, the Worcester County Fire Marshal's office says they found more than 50 of those ordinances. Making national headlines tonight, tensions are rising around Greenland. Overnight, President Trump sharing screenshots of private messages from world leaders as he forcefully reiterated his desire to control the Arctic island. As Michael Yoshida reports, the president is expected to meet his global counterparts in Switzerland this week. That's at the World Economic Forum, where Trump's Greenland threats have already cast a long shadow.
President Donald Trump continuing his pressure campaign for the United States to take control of Greenland. In a slew of late-night social media posts, the president sharing 2 AI-generated photos, including one showing him planting an American flag on the island.
Look, we have to have it, you know, because the boat went there 500 years ago and then left. That doesn't give you title to property.
Trump also exposing private messages with world leaders, one purportedly from the NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, and another from French President Emmanuel Macron, who wrote, quote, "I do not understand what you are doing on Greenland." A source close to Macron confirmed the screenshot is authentic. Macron speaking Tuesday at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland.
Competition from the United States of America through trade agreements that undermine our export interests, demand maximum concessions, and openly aim to weaken and subordinate Europe.
Leaders expressing strong support for Greenland and Denmark. And with one leader calling Trump's threat of new tariffs over Greenland a mistake between allies.
Plunging us into a downward spiral would only aid the very adversaries we are both so committed to keeping out of the strategic landscape.
All eyes will remain on Davos this week as Trump visits the conference Wednesday, set to deliver a special address and expected to attend a meeting about Greenland. In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida.
We do have more news to tell you about this evening. Coming up next, the Route 50 bridge closures now in place, how drivers will be directed by detours there. But first, a briefcase that could enact another referendum in Ocean City. How many signatures are inside? And coming up, Paul Williams is in the Coast TV First Alert Weather Center. He has more on this winter storm when we're back.
As we continue to track this storm, we like to be really conservative and give you projections as far as the amounts to expect. So we're going to start that tomorrow because I feel more confident about the models as we get a little closer to the event. And even for tomorrow, we're jumping the gun a little earlier than I prefer, but it seems to be such a big storm and the models have agreed so quickly and uniformly that I feel confident that we're going to start talking about the amounts. Although, to be honest, I'm looking at about 6 inches of snow generally for everybody and heavier in some isolated pockets. But we'll go into that more tomorrow. But for right now, we talk about the cold that's here and now and present this evening. 18 degrees, actually, ocean view. And we're going to stay in the teens to lower 20s. Now, today's low, we started off at 17 as the starting point in Georgetown. 16 was the starting point, not only in Salisbury, but also in Ocean City. And here's where we stand right now. It's 15 in Long Neck, Millsboro, Redden, and Milford. It's 13 right now in Harrington. So it just kind of shows you how potent this Arctic air is that we already have in place. That's the perfect base to build a significant amount of snow on top of. Now, 14 to 15 degrees cooler now than we were 24 hours ago, with it feeling like basically the same temperatures. The winds are relatively light, so that's not necessarily a problem. As I widen the scope here, we have this high pressure, this dome of high pressure here. This is what's going to put the squeeze on the moisture that's going to come out of the deep south and combine with this Arctic air to the north. Now that combination is going to make for a significant double or triple decker sandwich that's going to give us rain, sleet, and snow. That being the case, Wednesday we're going to stay warm. We have a good recovery day Wednesday, and it's going to actually be mild to almost warm on Thursday. Because listen, we're going to go up to the 50s on Thursday. Then the bottom drops out of this thing, okay? And that's when you're on notice that, hey, here comes that storm, here comes the cold. Saturday, midnight, we're going to drop to single digits, and then we drop to 7 below Saturday morning, 6 below Saturday morning, and 4 below Saturday morning. 4 below for the beaches, 7 below for inland areas. Now, as we go into Sunday, we're still going to stay pretty cold because the wind chill is going to still be at 0, 1, 2, or 3. So we're staying with the cold air. Precipitation chances have now escalated to 90% chance of snow. That's about as sure bet as you can get on this time side of life. Now, the freeze potential there is also a big deal because we're looking at freezing conditions for us on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, going into Tuesday. And next week, the big story is going to be how cold it's going to be. I'm taking my time to kind of show you the latest model run. So 10 o'clock Saturday, we see it moving into Chincoteague. And then right around 6 o'clock in the morning Sunday, we start getting our first to second wave of snow. Then by 1 o'clock, we start seeing the heavy snow kick in. And this is the backside of the low pressure system that's off the coast. And then it carries to the north. And that swirling in the backside of that creates more snow until we go into early Monday. And then after that, we have below normal temperatures that will absolutely freeze everything on the spot. Here's a look at your extended forecast. We're looking for it to continue to be problematic for us.
All right, thank you, Paul. Well, a petition has been submitted to the Ocean City Council. It's in response to the council's decision to extend a moratorium by a full year that restricts homeowners in residential areas and mobile home communities from purchasing a rental license. But as Kevin Zapay reports, some homeowners say it's not fair.
Walking through the doors of Ocean City Town Hall with another briefcase in hand. Terry Miller believes there are enough signatures inside to trigger a referendum.
We've been actively gathering signatures for the last 40 days in the rain, snow, sleet.
On Tuesday, Miller and other homeowners submitted what they believe to be over the 990 valid signatures they need to enact a referendum. The petition challenges the Ocean City Council's decision to extend the current moratorium by 1 year. A moratorium that restricts homeowners in residential areas and mobile home communities from purchasing a rental license. The Ocean City Council decided to put a pause on new rental licenses in these areas as they discuss new possible regulations for these short-term rentals. But Miller believes that decision is an overreach of power.
What's happened here, this is not leadership. This is tyranny and cronyism. And we really need to be leaders. We should be trying to make the town wonderful for all of our residents.
With a council decision made back in December and paperwork now submitted in an effort to overturn it, the next step is for the town to count and verify signatures, which could trigger a public vote in the future.
That was Kevin Zappé reporting. Now, according to Miller, each signature needed to be signed in person by someone who is a registered voter in Ocean City and who lives in Ocean City, and Miller believes they did hit that 990 mark. According to the town of Ocean City, if the Board of Elections determines enough signatures are valid, an election would be triggered. And until those results are decided, the moratorium would be suspended, meaning homeowners in those affected areas would once again be allowed to purchase rental licenses. As of right now, there are 341 short-term rental licenses in residential areas and mobile home communities in Ocean City. Also in Ocean City, the Route 50 bridge is closed until February 3rd. After February 3rd, MDOT says single lane closures will go into place until the project is complete about a month later. CoastTV spoke with officials who say it's a necessary evil.
There's never a good time, but given the time of year, this is probably the least disruptive period they could have chosen. Much better that we get this work done now and the bridge is operational and safe for the summer.
MDOT says there are detours in place which will direct drivers to US 113, also to Maryland Route 90 to Coastal Highway. And this brings us to our CoastTV poll. We're asking how the Route 50 bridge closure is going to affect you. Let's take a look. 10% say it will cause a major delay, 3% slight delay, 87% not too worried about it. They say no impact. That's good. And you can still vote. Go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app and let us know for yourself. Coming up tonight, financial pressure and new research that shows how it can age your heart.
This is Coast TV News at 11.
Federal health officials are downplaying measles outbreaks in the middle of the country. They say if the U.S. loses its status as a country that has eliminated measles, they say it would not be a big deal. Officials with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention held a briefing Tuesday. Overall, there were more than 2,200 measles cases in 2025. That's the most in the country since 1991. In 2000, the disease was declared eliminated in the U.S., but the Pan American Health Organization could change that when it meets in April. Also, a new report says setting screen time limits for your kids might not be enough. The American Academy of Pediatrics releasing updated guidance for helping families navigate the digital media world. The new guidance focuses on quality, context, and conversation. They're suggesting talking to your kids about things like ads and influencers and privacy, and also seeking out quality content. Well, heart disease remains the leading cause of death in the U.S., and now experts are analyzing another risk factor, which is financial stress. Worrying about money and food may age the heart even faster than traditional risk factors of cardiovascular disease, according to a new study published in the journal Mayo Clinic Proceedings. Ivan Rodriguez reports he has more on the study and what steps people can take to improve their heart health.
Researchers analyzed data from over 280,000 adults who sought treatment at the Mayo Clinic between 2018 and 2023. These patients completed surveys about their social and economic factors in their lives and underwent evaluations of their cardiovascular health. Instead of only looking at whether people developed heart disease, researchers focused on their cardiovascular age, which is how old a person's heart and blood vessels look compared to what one would expect given their actual age.
People who reported higher levels of financial stress had more advanced cardiovascular age.
Dr. Lena Wen was not a part of the research, but says the study shows financial stress tended to increase heart aging at a rate that was similar or greater than other risk factors like high blood pressure and diabetes.
We also have to think about the issue of compounded risk factors, which is that somebody could have high blood pressure and they also have financial stress. That person now has two significant risk factors for worse cardiovascular health.
Certified financial therapist Rick Kaler says people with financial stress need to separate the numbers from the emotions.
We need to slow down the nervous system. Trying to solve a money problem when I'm flooded and I'm in fear and panic often backfires.
Once those feelings have subsided, Kaler says work on one small financial action at a time.
Just making a call, researching one thing, rather than feeling you've got to tackle the whole problem.
I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
Coming up in sports, the Delmarva Sports Network hits the pools for this local team's senior night. And coming up, a rivals rematch. The U.S. and Canada meet again for Olympic gold in women's hockey. How this year's game could settle the score.
We're going to score a couple of mild days before this crazy winter storm hits us over the weekend. 43 on Wednesday in Cambridge and Crisfield. Sunshine and 50s on Thursday before we start tanking on Friday. And the snow and the storm is going to hit starting Saturday.
Well, it might just be the greatest rivalry in sports, the United States and Canada in women's hockey. The two countries on a collision course for gold in Italy again. Chris Egan has more on this.
The world of women's hockey is a small one. That world consists of North America, the United States, and Canada.
We hate them. It's an awesome rivalry. It's so spicy out there.
Since women's hockey started in the Olympics, these two countries have pretty much staged a two-team tournament.
Blood boils sometimes on the ice and even off the ice, so I think, yeah, it's definitely one of the greatest rivalries.
In 7 Olympic Games, Canada and the U.S. have won the gold medal each time. The Americans won gold in 1998 in Nagano. Then Canada won 4 Olympic Games in a row in Salt Lake, Torino, Vancouver, and Sochi. The red, white, and blue stopped that streak in 2018 in Pyeongchang. But then Canada stood on top of the podium 4 years later in 2022 in Beijing.
The loss always sucks. And it stays with you for quite a while.
When it ended in 2022, I mean, we all looked right to 2026 and we knew what our goal was and we want to win a gold medal.
And here we go again. This time it's a showdown in Milan this February.
This is their Stanley Cup and Olympics, and everything is all wrapped up into one as far as their dreams are concerned, and this is the tip of the iceberg for women's hockey.
And it should come down to the U.S. and Canada yet again. The possibility of beating the Canadians to win Olympic gold is what keeps Team USA coming back to the rink every day.
When both teams step on the ice, it's almost like a do or die mentality, and I think everyone takes so much pride in like U.S. or Canada, and I think that gets put on display when we hit the ice.
In women's hockey, supremacy is judged by Olympic gold. Add some bad blood, rich history, and the best players in the world, and you have one of the best rivalries in sports.
How exciting, both teams facing off for the first game on February 5th. Then the two rivals face off in tournament play. That's on February 10th. And don't forget, the Winter Olympics run February 6th until the 22nd, and you can only watch right here on CoastTV.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Good evening, sports fans. This winter season, we hit the courts, cover the mats, and now we head to the pools. 2 local programs are competing at the Henson Family YMCA in Salisbury, and tonight was more than just a swim meet. It's senior night for the Salisbury Christian swim team as they take on the Salisbury School. A successful evening for the seniors, including Ashley Romanowski winning 200 freestyle and Leah Romanowski winning 2 IM. And the Jaguars seniors say they were able to reach some of their best times on senior night, while others are happy to have the community support at this meet.
It felt really good. It's not really my best event, but I went out there and I got pretty close to my best time, which felt really good to do on senior night in front of my friends and everything.
It really does mean a lot to see this many people come out.
It's just really cool. I mean, swimming, I swim for clubs, so coming to swim for high school and seeing like the different environment, it's really cool and fun.
We've been here for so long. It's nice to have a night where we all just get recognized.
To graduate with them after all these years is really special. I think it's just amazing to see like how we all started, and then like as like seniors now, it's just like crazy improvements.
Congratulations to Salisbury Christian on a great senior night. For more stories like these, highlights, live games, and more, make sure you subscribe to DSM Plus today so you don't miss any of the action. That'll for us for now. Have a great night, everybody.
We have something exciting to tell you about growth on the coast. We know it's a big issue. We've been reporting on it, and we have these growing pains because everyone wants to live here on the coast. It does come at a cost, though. Roads, infrastructure, development, a loss of open space. All of that creates conflict and concerns here on the coast, and Coast TV News has investigated all of the deep-seated issues that brought us to where we are today. Now on February 4th at 7 p.m., join us for a 1-hour special to help you understand the price of paradise, growth on the coast.
Right now, we have temperatures at 16 degrees in Milford, and we're going to stay in the teens for the rest of the night under mostly clear skies. Fortunately, the winds have died down, so that helps us with our comfort level. High pressure and control of our weather for right now, but let's take a detailed look at the latest model run. By 9 o'clock in the morning, we're looking for steady showers across Sussex by 9 o'clock Sunday, and then heavier snow showers going into Sunday night. Notice we get no break from there. No quarter is given there. So once it starts snowing on Sunday, it continues, and then the center of the storm pulls off. But then we still have the backside that's creating more snow for Monday morning until we get to Monday afternoon. That's going to deal with giving us a little more snow than the initial runs indicated. Marie Hanna of Millsboro, congratulations. You're our umbrella giveaway winner, courtesy of Paul Davis, Property Restoration Experts. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line. We update you on the latest what's happening with the weather. Sponsored by the law offices of Brockstedt, Mandalis, and Federico. And here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. We are indeed likely to call for some alert days for Saturday and Sunday. We'll determine that for tomorrow, but cold weather will persist as soon as that snow